Hello and welcome to another edition of our Experts with Impact series. Today we are discussing cyber crisis response, what to say to your stakeholders when you've been hacked. And here's a hint, don't say hacked. Crisis communications is always a stakeholder juggling act. When it involves a cybersecurity event, it can feel like there are a million balls in the air. Now, as cyber incidents and threats continue to rise and evolve, so too does the pressure facing executive leadership and corporate communications teams. So, here to help sort it all out for us are Senior Managing Director Meredith Graffanti and Managing Director Jamie Singer, co-leaders of our Cybersecurity and Data Privacy Communications practice. Meredith, I want to start with you. First off, why shouldn't organizations say they've been quote unquote hacked? And second, what is the most important thing they should do from a comms perspective once an event has occurred?
Great questions, Nick. Well, the reason they shouldn't come out of the gates and say something like hacked is typically, in the early stages of finding out that you're a victim of a cyber incident, you don't know exactly what's happened. There's a lot of moving parts. Forensic investigations are just getting underway. You don't know how the bad guys got in. You don't know if they're still in your systems, or whether or not they've taken data. So there's different words like data breach, hack, cyber incident, cyber event that all have very different connotations. So we typically advise our clients to just, be really factual about what they're saying publicly about an incident, get together with their forensic investigators, their legal team, and to really understand, what you know to be fact in that moment and not get ahead of it.
All right, so there is a lot written about cybersecurity communications these days. In your opinion, what aspect deserves more attention?
Another good question, Nick. I think the thing that deserves attention that we don't typically talk about is the scenario planning process once you're actually in the middle of a live incident. So you've gotten over that first, communication where you've told folks publicly, your stakeholders, what's happening, but then you're trying to anticipate the threat actor's next move. And we're really seeing them get creative these days in terms of pressure tactics and trying to get their victims to come to the negotiating table, whether that's, calling the press and giving interviews, if it's, pressuring their victims again by sending emails to employees. We've even seen them take out Facebook ads. So some of those things you can anticipate based on the threat actor group, but some of them you just can't. So the thing that we don't talk about that we say is so important is having the comms team put those different scenarios down on paper and thinking through how it would affect your messaging and how you would get those messages out the door quickly.
So important to be prepared. Thanks, Meredith. Jamie, I want to bring you in now. When you get those crisis calls in the middle of the night, what do you tell your clients at that time?
Well, the first thing we say is don't panic. But in all seriousness, one of the first things we talk to our clients about is to take a beat before they actually start to communicate. There is often this feeling that companies need to rush to get something out there. But the problem with cybersecurity is that could actually do more harm than good. These are often very fluid situations where a forensic investigation can uncover different things along different days. So if you start to communicate before you know all the facts, you might end up saying something that you're later going to have to correct, and that's going to just erode trust. So really important to think about the idea that, yes, it's important to have urgency, but stakeholders at the end of the day, they'll forgive you for being too slow, but they're not going to forgive you for being wrong.
So I want to wrap with this question here. We've been talking a lot about reactive measures here. Are there proactive, outside the box comms tactics that more businesses should embrace?
Yeah, well, one thing that businesses really need to think about is the employee communications aspect of these issues and being a little bit more creative. Because in these situations, employees really wear two hats. They can be affected by the cybersecurity incident themselves, and they're your most effective mouthpiece to your other stakeholders. So whether it's town halls, CEO videos, even having executives walk the halls during a cybersecurity incident and talking to employees, that's going to go a really long way in terms of employee engagement and restoring trust. So really important to be thinking about internal communications as much as you're thinking about external.
Really great insights. Thank you, Jamie, and thanks to Meredith as well. To learn more about FTI Consulting's cybersecurity and data privacy communications practice, visit the link in this post.